In a small African village where traditions ruled every decision, there was one law everyone feared. If someone spilled blood, blood must answer. For generations, this law kept peace in the village. But one day, a woman named Amara did something no one had ever dared to do. She forgave the man who destroyed her life. And because of that, her own people turned against her. This is the story of the woman who chose forgiveness when the entire village demanded revenge. The village of Abanaka was known for its strong traditions. Every child grew up learning the same rule. Never break the balance of the village. Because if you did, justice would find you. One night, a terrible fight broke out between two families. At the center of it all was a man named Naji. What started as anger quickly turned into violence. By the time the chaos ended, a man lay dead. A home was destroyed. And Amara, the wife of the victim, lost everything. Her husband. Her protector. Her future. The entire village mourned with her. But they also knew what tradition demanded. Revenge. A few weeks later, the elders gathered everyone in the village square. The man responsible, Naji, stood in the middle of the crowd. His head lowered in shame. According to tradition, the victim's family had the final say. And Amara was the only one left to speak for her husband. The elder raised his staff and spoke with authority. Amara, the village is waiting. What punishment do you demand? Everyone expected the same answer. Because in Abanaka, justice was simple. The crowd grew silent as Amara slowly stepped forward. Her eyes rested on the man who had taken everything from her. Naji trembled. The villagers waited for her words. But instead, Amara did something that shocked the entire village. She stepped forward and embraced him. Gasps filled the air. People whispered in disbelief. Some even shouted in anger. But Amara held Naji tightly. Then she spoke in a calm, Ed voice. If I ask for his death, my husband will not return. If I choose revenge, my heart will still be broken. But if I forgive him, at least the pain stops here. The villagers stared at her like she had betrayed them. Because what she had done was more than forgiveness. She had broken the village law. For generations, revenge had kept their world balanced. But now, one woman had refused to continue the cycle. At first, people were simply shocked. But slowly, their shock turned into anger. Villagers began whispering behind Amara's back. Some said she had dishonored her husband. Others said she had weakened their traditions. Because if revenge was no longer necessary, then everything they believed about justice could fall apart. So the village did something cruel. They began to ignore her. Neighbors stopped greeting her. Friends avoided her. Even children were warned not to speak with her. Amara had not committed a crime. But she was treated like an enemy. The man she forgave. Meanwhile, Naji lived with the weight of what he had done. He expected hatred. He expected punishment. But Amara had given him something far heavier. Mercy. And that mercy haunted him every day. He tried to repay her kindness. He tried to serve the village. But the villagers rejected him as well. Because accepting forgiveness meant admitting that revenge was not the only path. And many were not ready to face that truth. The cost of peace. Years passed. Amara lived quietly on the edge of the village. She farmed her land alone. She spoke little. But those who watched closely noticed something strange. While the village remained bitter and divided, Amara lived with peace in her heart. One evening, a young boy asked his father a simple question. Why do we hate the woman who forgave? The father looked toward Amara's distant hut. But he had no answer. Because deep down, everyone knew the truth. Amara had not been weak. She had been brave enough to choose peace when everyone else chose anger. The legacy. Amara lost her place in the village. She lost her friends. She lost the life she once knew. But she gained something far more powerful. Freedom from hatred. And over time, the villagers began to realize something painful. The woman they rejected had actually shown them the greatest strength of all. The strength to forgive. Ending plus call to subscribe. Now tell me. If you were in Amara's place, would you choose revenge? Or forgiveness? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy powerful African stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because the next story might teach a lesson that could change your life.